Right now, as you watch this, your body is making chemicals that control how you feel. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. And here's what is scary. A study from the National Institutes of Health found that almost all psychiatric and neurological conditions with sleep problems also show signs of emotional imbalance. That means your daily habits are either building your mood or destroying it. And most people have no idea which one they are doing. This is a full course, not a short tip video. By the end of this, you will know exactly how your mood works inside your body, and you will have a step-by-step plan to take control of it. We are going to cover the brain, the gut, your sleep, your food, your movement, your thoughts, everything. And I promise you, some of what you will learn today will shock you. So let me start with the most important thing you need to understand. Your mood is not random. It is not just who you are. Your mood is a system, and like any system, it can be fixed, upgraded, and managed. Let us begin. Your mood is run by chemicals in your brain called neurotransmitters. Think of them like tiny messengers. They carry signals between your brain cells. The main ones that control your mood are serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, and GABA. When these chemicals are balanced, you feel calm, motivated, happy, and focused. When they are out of balance, you feel anxious, sad, tired, or angry. Now here is what most people get wrong. They think mood is just about thinking positive. No, your mood starts at the chemical level. A meta-analysis of 49 studies confirmed that physical activity has a moderate to large effect on reducing symptoms of depression. Not because people thought happier thoughts, but because their brain chemicals changed. So before we talk about mindset, we need to talk about your biology. And that is exactly what we are going to do. Step by step, chemical by chemical. I am going to show you how each part of your body connects to your mood and exactly what to do about it. But first, you need to meet the most important chemical in your brain, serotonin. This is the big one. Serotonin is the chemical that makes you feel calm, content, and emotionally stable. When your serotonin is low, you feel sad, irritable, anxious, and you cannot sleep well. Most antidepressant medications work by trying to keep more serotonin in your brain. That is how important it is. But here is where it gets wild. About 90% of your body's serotonin is not made in your brain. It is made in your gut. A landmark study from Caltech showed that mice without normal gut bacteria produced roughly 60% less serotonin than mice with healthy gut bacteria. When they put the bacteria back, the serotonin came back. Your stomach is basically a serotonin factory. We are going to talk about how to take care of that factory later in this video. But just remember this: if your gut is unhealthy, your mood will suffer. Period. Now let me introduce you to the next chemical you need to know: dopamine. This is your drive chemical. Dopamine is what makes you feel motivated, excited, and rewarded. Every time you do things like finish a task at work, eat something delicious, or hear your favorite song come on, your brain releases dopamine. It says, "That was good. Do it again." The problem is, in the modern world, we get too much cheap dopamine. Things like scrolling through social media for 3 hours, binge-watching an entire TV series in one night, or eating a whole bag of chips while lying on the couch. These things flood your brain with dopamine. And when you flood the system, your brain starts turning down the volume. You need more and more stimulation just to feel okay. That is why so many people feel numb and unmotivated. A systematic review published in the journal Life Sciences found that exercise directly triggers the release of dopamine, which improves mood and activates the brain's reward system. So the fix is not more screens and more junk. The The fix is earning your dopamine through real effort. More on that soon. Now let us talk about the enemy, cortisol. This is your stress hormone. In small amounts, cortisol is actually helpful. It wakes you up in the morning, it helps you run away from danger, it keeps you alert during a big job interview. But when cortisol stays high for too long, it destroys your mood. Chronic high cortisol shrinks the part of your brain responsible for memory and emotional control. It makes you anxious, exhausted, and irritable. It messes with your sleep. It makes you gain weight. And guess what? It lowers your serotonin and dopamine at the same time. So you are stressed and you cannot feel happy. Double hit. A study on gratitude and appreciation showed that participants who felt grateful had a measurable reduction in cortisol levels and better heart function. That is right. Something as simple as gratitude can fight cortisol. But we are going to get into the best cortisol fighting tools later. For now, just understand this. Managing cortisol is half the battle of managing your mood. Now, let us talk about sleep. If you take nothing else from this video, take this. Sleep is the foundation of mood. Without good sleep, nothing else works. Not exercise, not diet, not meditation. Nothing. And I am not just saying that. The science behind this is, honestly, terrifying. A study using brain scans from UC Berkeley found that just one night of no sleep causes a 60% increase in emotional reactivity in the amygdala, the part of your brain that processes fear and negative emotions. 60% after just one night. That means after a bad night of sleep, your brain reacts to negative things almost twice as strongly as normal. And it gets worse. At the same time the amygdala goes into overdrive, the prefrontal cortex, the calm, logical part of your brain, goes quiet. The connection between these two regions breaks down. Research confirmed that sleep deprivation weakens the coupling between the prefrontal cortex and amygdala, removing the brain's ability to regulate emotions properly. So your emotional alarm system is screaming, and the part of your brain that should calm it down is basically asleep. This is why, after a bad night of sleep, you snap at your partner over something small like them leaving a cup on the counter. This is why you cry during a sad commercial on TV. This is why you feel like the whole world is against you when really, you just did not sleep. Your brain is literally operating without its brakes. Sleep-deprived people also show increased impulsivity, worse decision-making, and reduced ability to recognize other people's emotions accurately. So not only do you feel worse, you also misread everyone around you. You think your friend is being rude when they are just being normal. You think your boss is angry when they are just busy. Your brain is creating problems that do not exist. And remember the neurotransmitters we talked about? Serotonin, dopamine, GABA? Your brain does its most important maintenance on those systems while you sleep. That is when it cleans out waste, repairs connections, and rebalances chemicals. Skip sleep, and you skip the maintenance. So, how much sleep do you need? And how do you actually get good sleep? That is next. You need between 7 and 9 hours. Not 6, not 5, 7 to 9. And the quality matters just as much as the quantity. Here is how to get both. Step 1. Consistency. Go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every morning, even on weekends. Your brain has an internal clock called your circadian rhythm. When you keep changing the schedule, you confuse this clock and your sleep suffers. Step 2. Darkness. Your brain produces a hormone called melatonin that makes you sleepy. But melatonin only releases in dark conditions. So when you lie in bed scrolling your phone at midnight, or leave the television on while trying to fall asleep, or keep the bedroom lights on full, the blue light from those screens tells your brain it is still daytime, and your melatonin drops. Put the phone away at least 1 hour before bed. Make your room dark. Use blackout curtains if you need to. Step 3. Cool your room. Your body temperature needs to drop slightly to fall asleep. Keep your bedroom between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, or 15 to 19 Celsius. Step 4. No caffeine after 2 p.m. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours, meaning half of that afternoon coffee is still in your body at bedtime. These 4 steps alone can transform your sleep within a week. Now let us talk about the most powerful natural mood booster on the planet: exercise. And no, I am not just talking about getting fit or losing weight. I am talking about literally changing the chemistry in your brain within minutes. When you exercise, your brain releases endorphins, serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine all at once. That is a complete mood cocktail. Research from the National Library of Medicine confirmed that exercise increases the levels of all the major neurotransmitters that regulate mood, resulting in more enjoyment, pleasure, and overall well-being. This is not theory. This is measured, observed, proven brain chemistry. But the benefits do not stop when you finish your workout. Exercise also increases something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF as fertilizer for your brain. It helps brain cells grow, it repairs damaged connections, and it is especially active in the hippocampus, the area of your brain that regulates mood. People with depression often have low BDNF levels, and exercise significantly increases it. So exercise does not just make you feel good today, it makes your brain stronger for tomorrow. Now, before you say, "I hate the gym," relax. You do not need a gym membership. You do not need to run marathons. You do not even need to break a heavy sweat. The U.S. Department of Health recommends 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week for mood benefits. That is just about 20 to 25 minutes a day. A brisk walk counts. Dancing in your living room counts. Playing with your kids counts. The key is getting your heart rate up. That means activities like walking fast enough that you are slightly out of breath, riding a bicycle around your neighborhood, or even doing jumping jacks in your bedroom for 10 minutes. The point is movement, not perfection, not a six-pack, movement. And here is a bonus tip that most people miss. Exercising outside is even more powerful for mood. You get the benefits of movement plus sunlight, fresh air, and often a change of scenery. All of these add extra mood-boosting effects that we will talk about later. But first, let me tell you about something that might surprise you more than anything else in this video: your stomach. Your gut has its own nervous system. It is called the enteric nervous system, and it contains over 500 million nerve cells. Scientists call it your second brain. And this second brain talks directly to the brain in your head through something called the gut-brain axis. This is a real physical highway of nerves, hormones, and chemical signals going back and forth between your stomach and your skull. Research from the National Institutes of Health identified 4 major pathways of the gut-brain axis: neurologic, endocrine, metabolic, and immune, all of which influence mood and emotional processing. This is not some fringe idea. This is mainstream neuroscience now. What happens in your gut directly affects how you feel emotionally. And remember what I told you earlier? 90% of your serotonin, your calm, happy chemical, is made in your gut. The enterochromaffin cells in the gastrointestinal system produce about 90% of the body's total serotonin, while the brain only contains approximately 5%. So if your gut is inflamed, damaged, or full of bad bacteria, your serotonin production drops, and your mood goes down with it. The bacteria living in your gut are not just passive passengers, they are active participants in your mood. Specific types of gut bacteria, like Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium, actually produce neurotransmitters including serotonin, GABA, and dopamine. These are the same chemicals your brain uses to regulate mood. Your bacteria are literally manufacturing your emotions. Studies on germ-free mice raised without any gut bacteria, showed that these mice displayed significantly more anxious behavior compared to mice with normal gut bacteria. And when researchers gave those anxious mice probiotics, their behavior improved. The bacteria changed their mood. Not drugs, not therapy, bacteria. Furthermore, a study on tryptophan, the building block of serotonin, found that people on a tryptophan-rich diet showed improved mood, while people on a low tryptophan diet experienced anxiety and irritability. So the food you eat feed your bacteria make your chemicals, and your chemicals create your mood. It is a chain, and it starts on your plate. So what should you eat? Let us keep this simple. You want two things: prebiotics and probiotics. Prebiotics are the food for your good bacteria. They come from fiber-rich foods. Think things like bananas, oats in the morning, garlic in your dinner, onions in your soup, and asparagus as a side dish. These feed the good guys in your gut and help them multiply. Probiotics are the good bacteria themselves. You get them from fermented foods. That means things like yogurt with your breakfast, kimchi with your rice, sauerkraut on your sandwich, kefir as a morning drink, and miso soup before dinner. These foods put live, healthy bacteria directly into your gut. A study found that fermented milk containing Lactobacillus casei helped prevent physical symptoms of stress in medical students during exam season. Exam season, that is real stress, and gut bacteria help them handle it. What should you avoid? Highly processed foods, too much sugar, artificial sweeteners, and excessive alcohol. These destroy good bacteria and promote bad bacteria. Think of it this way. Every meal is either feeding the bacteria that help your mood or feeding the bacteria that hurt your mood. Choose wisely. Let me go deeper on something. Tryptophan. This is an amino acid, a building block of protein, that your body cannot make on its own. You must get it from food. And tryptophan is the raw material your body uses to make serotonin. No tryptophan, no serotonin. No serotonin, bad mood. It is that direct. Foods high in tryptophan include things like turkey at dinner time, eggs for breakfast, salmon for lunch, nuts as an afternoon snack, and seeds sprinkled on your salad. You also find it in cheese, tofu, and pineapple. To help your body convert tryptophan into serotonin, you also need vitamin B6, which you can get from chickpeas, potatoes, and bananas. Research showed that individuals eating a tryptophan-rich diet experienced real improvements in their mood states and a decline in depressive symptoms. This is powerful because it means you can literally eat your way to a better mood. Not with junk food, not with comfort eating, with strategic nutrition that gives your body the building blocks it needs. Now, let us move to something that costs nothing but is incredibly effective. Sunlight. Free, available almost everywhere, and critical for your mood. When sunlight hits your eyes in the morning, it triggers a cascade of signals in your brain. It sets your circadian rhythm so you sleep better at night. It suppresses melatonin so you feel alert during the day, and it boosts serotonin production. This is why people in places like Scandinavia during winter, where the sun barely comes up for months, experience much higher rates of seasonal sadness. This is why people living in cloudy cities often report feeling sluggish in January and February. And this is why just stepping outside on a sunny morning can make you instantly feel more alive. That is not imagination, that is brain chemistry. Try to get 10 to 20 minutes of natural sunlight within the first hour of waking up. Do not wear sunglasses during this time. You want the light to reach your eyes naturally. Go outside and drink your morning coffee on the porch. Walk your dog around the block, or just stand outside while checking your messages for a few minutes. This one habit alone can regulate your sleep, your energy, and your mood, and it does not cost a single penny. Now let us talk about something you do 20,000 times a day without thinking: breathing. Your breath is directly connected to your nervous system. When you breathe fast and shallow, your body activates the fight or flight mode, the sympathetic nervous system. Cortisol goes up, heart rate goes up, anxiety goes up. But when you breathe slowly and deeply, you activate the opposite system, the parasympathetic nervous system, also called rest and digest. This system lowers cortisol, slows your heart rate, and calms your mind. And you can switch between these two systems in seconds just by changing how you breathe. Here is the simplest technique, the 4-7-8 breath. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, breathe out through your mouth for 8 seconds. Do this 4 times. That is it. Takes less than 2 minutes, and it can pull you out of an anxious spiral fast. Use it when you are sitting in traffic and feel road rage building. Use it before walking into a stressful meeting at work. Use it when you are lying in bed at night and your mind will not stop racing. This is a free, instant mood tool that you carry with you everywhere. This next one sounds too simple to work, but the science behind it is rock solid. Gratitude. The practice of actively noticing and appreciating good things in your life, and it literally rewires your brain over time. A study found that practicing gratitude consistently led to a 23% reduction in cortisol, the stress hormone. 23%. That is a massive drop from something that takes 5 minutes a day. The same research found that grateful people also had better cardiac function and were more emotionally resilient. But here is what is really fascinating. A psychiatrist from Huntsman Mental Health Institute explained that expressing gratitude boosts dopamine and serotonin in the brain, the same chemicals that antidepressant medications target. And with consistent practice, the neural pathways associated with gratitude get stronger. Your brain physically changes. It becomes easier and more natural to notice good things. You are literally training your brain to be happier. And all it takes is a notebook and 5 minutes. Here is exactly how to do it. Every morning or every night, pick one and stick with it. Write down 3 specific things you are grateful for. But here's the key. Do not be vague. Do not write, "I am grateful for my family," every single day. Get specific. Write something like, "I am grateful my daughter laughed so hard at dinner tonight that milk came out of her nose." Or, "I am grateful my coworker covered my shift yesterday when I was feeling sick." Or, "I am grateful I got to sit on my balcony this morning and the weather was perfect." Specific, detailed. This forces your brain to actually relive the positive moment, which triggers a stronger chemical response. Research from applied psychology, health and well-being found that people who practiced gratitude journaling before bed fell asleep faster, slept longer, and woke up feeling more refreshed. So this simple habit improves mood and sleep at the same time. Do it for 3 weeks straight without missing a day. That is the minimum. After that, you will not want to stop. Humans are social animals. This is not a cute saying. It is biology. Your brain is wired for connection. When you spend meaningful time with other people, your brain releases oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding chemical. Oxytocin lowers cortisol, reduces anxiety, and increases feelings of trust and safety. When you spend the whole weekend alone in your apartment without talking to anyone, ordering food delivery and staring at a screen, even if it feels relaxing, your brain is starving for connection. When you cancel plans with your friends for the 4th week in a row because you don't feel like going out, you are making your mood worse, not better. And when you isolate during hard times instead of reaching out to someone, you are cutting yourself off from one of your brain's most powerful mood medicines. A study published in the Journal of Happiness Studies found that people who practiced loving kindness, simply wishing well for strangers they passed on the street, felt happier, more connected, more caring, and less anxious after just 12 minutes. 12 minutes of wishing strangers well. That is how sensitive your brain is to social warmth. Connection is not a luxury. It is a requirement for good mood. Now here is the flip side of social connection: comparison. And it is a mood killer. That same Iowa State University study tested whether comparing yourself favorably to others, thinking you are better off than them, would improve mood. It did not. In fact, people who compared themselves to others felt less empathetic, less caring, and less connected. Think about the last time you scrolled Instagram and saw someone on vacation in Bali while you were eating leftovers on your couch. Or the time you saw a classmate get promoted and you felt a sting in your chest, even though you do not even want their job. Or when a friend posted about their perfect relationship and you suddenly felt lonely, even though you were fine 10 minutes ago. That is comparison, and it poisons your mood every single time. The researchers called comparison a competitive strategy and said that competitive mindsets are linked to stress, anxiety, and depression. So the rule is simple. Connect with others through warmth, not through competition. Wish people well instead of measuring yourself against them. Your brain will thank you for it. Now we need to talk about something that connects everything, your thoughts. Every single thought you have creates a chemical reaction in your brain. A fearful thought triggers cortisol. A grateful thought triggers serotonin. An exciting thought triggers dopamine. Your thoughts are not just floating ideas, they are chemical instructions. This means that negative thought patterns, the kind that loop in your head, are like a factory producing stress chemicals all day. When you wake up and your first thought is, "I hate my life," your brain floods with cortisol. When you replay that embarrassing thing you said at dinner 5 years ago over and over again, your brain keeps producing stress hormones as if it is happening right now. When you imagine the worst possible outcome of every situation before it even happens, your body responds as if the worst has already arrived. Your brain does not know the difference between a real event and a vividly imagined one. The chemicals produced are the same. This is why managing your thought patterns is not just mindset talk. It is neurochemistry. And the tool for changing those patterns is coming up next. There is a technique used in cognitive behavioral therapy called cognitive reframing, and it is one of the most studied and most effective tools for improving mood. The idea is simple. You do not try to ignore negative thoughts. You do not pretend everything is fine. Instead, you challenge the thought and look for a more balanced version of it. Let us say you get passed over for a promotion at work. Your automatic thought might be, "I am a failure. I will never succeed." That is an extreme thought. Reframing it might sound like, "I did not get this promotion, but I have gotten good feedback before, and I can ask my manager what I need to improve for next time." Same situation, different chemical response. The first thought floods you with cortisol. The second thought gives your brain some dopamine from the sense of a possible plan. A study from Ohio State University found that people who used mood-improving techniques they believed in, whether mindfulness or cognitive reframing, recovered from sad moods faster than those who used techniques they were told were their weakness. The takeaway? Use the technique that resonates with you. If reframing feels natural, use it. If meditation feels more natural, use that. The best tool is the one you will actually use. That Ohio State study revealed something else that is incredible. The participants were randomly told which technique was their strength. It was not actually based on real data, but just believing that a technique was their strength made it work better for them. The researchers concluded that it helps people to think they are working with their strengths rather than something they see as a weakness. This tells us something profound about mood management. Confidence in your tools matters. If you believe your evening walk helps your mood, it will help your mood more. If you believe your morning journaling works, it will work better. Your belief is not separate from the biology. It is part of the biology. Your expectations shape the chemical response. So as you learn these tools today, pick the ones that feel right to you. Do not force yourself into a practice you hate. The practice you believe in and enjoy is the one that will create the strongest chemical response in your brain. And speaking of practices, let us talk about one that has been used for thousands of years. Meditation, mindfulness, whatever you want to call it. This is not some mystical practice only for monks on mountaintops. This is brain training, and the science behind it is overwhelming. Mindfulness meditation has been shown to reduce activity in the amygdala, your brain's fear center, and strengthen the prefrontal cortex, which helps you regulate emotions. Research from UC Berkeley found that mindfulness practice reduces mind wandering and negative thoughts and has a positive effect on those with maladaptive thinking patterns. In simple words, meditation trains your brain to stop spiraling. It teaches you to notice a negative thought without getting swept away by it. You see the thought, you acknowledge it, and you let it pass without producing a flood of stress chemicals. You do not need to sit for an hour. Start with 5 minutes. Sit somewhere quiet. Close your eyes. Focus on your breathing. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring it back. That is it. That is the practice. The wandering and returning is the exercise. Every time you bring your attention back, you are doing 1 rep for your prefrontal cortex. Over time, your emotional control gets stronger. Let me explain something that traps millions of people. Rumination. This is when you replay negative events or worries over and over and over in your head. It is like watching the same sad movie scene on repeat. That argument with your mother last Thanksgiving, that text your ex sent that broke your heart, that mistake you made at work 2 years ago that nobody even remembers but you. You keep pressing play, and every time you do, your brain produces fresh stress hormones as if the event is happening again. Rumination is the #1 thinking pattern associated with depression and anxiety. And the worst part? It feels productive. It feels like you are figuring things out, but you are not. You are just marinating in cortisol. Research confirmed that negative mood enhances the processing of detailed specific information, meaning when you are sad, your brain is more likely to zoom in on negative details and get stuck there. The fix? Interruption the loop. As soon as you notice yourself ruminating, do something that requires your full attention. Stand up and do 10 push-ups. Call a friend and talk about something completely different. Put on music and sing out loud. You need to physically break the pattern. Your brain cannot ruminate and focus on a new task at the same time. Use that to your advantage. Let us talk about nature. And I do not just mean nature is nice. I mean nature heals your brain. Spending time in natural environments, parks, forests, beaches, mountains, even your backyard, reduces cortisol, lowers heart rate, and improves mood. Multiple studies have confirmed this effect. It is so reliable that some countries now prescribe nature walks as part of mental health treatment. The Japanese have a practice called Shinrin-yoku, which translates to forest bathing. It does not mean bathing in a river. It means slowly walking through a forest, breathing in the air, listening to the sounds, touching the trees, and being fully present. People who do this regularly show lower blood pressure, reduced cortisol, and improved immune function. And here is the interesting part. Even looking at nature helps. Studies have shown that hospital patients with a window view of trees recovered faster than patients whose windows faced a brick wall. So if you cannot get to a forest, put a plant on your desk, watch a nature documentary, open your window and listen to the birds. Get outside when you can. Even 20 minutes in a park can measurably shift your brain chemistry toward calm. This connects directly to something we need to address: screens. Your phone, your laptop, your TV, they are mood thieves. Not because technology is evil, but because of what it does to your brain. Constant notifications trigger small cortisol spikes all day. Social media triggers comparison. News cycles trigger anxiety and fear. And the blue light from screens disrupts your melatonin at night. Think about it. You wake up and the first thing you do is check your phone. Emails from work, bad news headlines, someone's perfect vacation, an argument in the comment section. Your brain is being hit with cortisol before you have even had breakfast. Then you sit on your commute scrolling through more negativity. Then you work on a screen all day. Then you come home and watch screens until bed. Your brain never gets a break. Start small. No phone for the first 30 minutes after waking up. No phone for the last 30 minutes before bed. Use those 60 minutes for something that builds your mood instead of draining it. Morning sunlight, a stretch, a walk, journaling, making a real breakfast. These things fill your cup. Your phone empties it. Protect your mornings and your evenings. Your mood depends on it. Here is one that nobody talks about: water. Dehydration, even mild dehydration, negatively affects mood. Studies have shown that losing just 1 to 2% of your body's water leads to increased anxiety, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and headaches. And most people are mildly dehydrated all the time without realizing it. Think about when you have a mild headache in the afternoon, feel foggy and cannot concentrate, or feel irritable for no clear reason. Before you blame your boss or the weather, ask yourself, when was the last time I drank water? Because often, the answer is hours ago. And your brain, which is about 75% water, is suffering. The fix is easy. Drink water consistently throughout the day. Aim for at least 8 glasses. Keep a water bottle with you at all times. Set a reminder on your phone every 2 hours that says, "Drink water." Drink a full glass first thing when you wake up. Add lemon, cucumber, or mint if plain water bores you. This tiny change can have a noticeable effect on your mood within days. It is the simplest fix on this entire list. We need to have an honest conversation about alcohol. Many people drink to relax or take the edge off. And yes, alcohol does initially produce a calming effect by increasing GABA in the brain. But here is what happens after. Alcohol disrupts your sleep architecture, especially REM sleep, which is critical for emotional processing. It depletes serotonin, it increases cortisol the next day, and it irritates your gut lining, damaging the bacteria that make your serotonin. So that glass of wine to unwind is actually undoing your mood work. Not one night in a while, but regularly, consistently, you are fighting against yourself. It is like going to the gym every morning and then eating 2 cheeseburgers and a milkshake for dinner every single night. The effort and the habit are pulling in opposite directions. I am not saying you can never drink again, but I am saying you should know the true cost. If you are struggling with mood and you drink regularly, try 30 days without it. Just 30 days. See how you feel. Most people are stunned by the difference. Better sleep, better gut, less anxiety, more energy. It is like removing a weight you did not even know you were carrying. While we are on the topic of things people use for comfort, let us talk about sugar. Sugar creates a fast spike in dopamine. That is why it feels so good in the moment. That chocolate bar at 3 p.m., that bowl of ice cream after a bad day, that energy drink when you are tired. Your brain gets a hit of pleasure and says, "Yes!" But then your blood sugar crashes, and with it, your mood crashes too. Over time, high sugar intake creates inflammation in the body and the brain, and inflammation is now considered one of the key drivers of depression. Research confirmed that depression is increasingly recognized as having an inflammatory component, and that gut dysbiosis triggers inflammatory pathways that affect neurotransmitter production. So sugar gives you 20 minutes of feeling good, followed by hours of feeling worse. And the more you eat, the more your brain needs to get the same effect. Sound familiar? That is the same pattern as addiction. Reduce your sugar intake gradually. Replace sugary snacks with things like nuts, fruit, dark chocolate, or Greek yogurt. Your mood will stabilize within weeks. Let me give you a nutrition weapon for your mood: omega-3 fatty acids. These are found in fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, also in walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. They protect brain cells. They support the production and function of serotonin and dopamine. They are essential for brain health. And your body cannot make them. Multiple studies have linked low omega-3 levels with higher rates of depression and mood disorders, and people who eat more omega-3 rich foods consistently report better emotional well-being. Some researchers believe that the rise in depression in modern society is partly connected to the decline in omega-3 intake as our diets shifted toward processed foods high in omega-6 fats instead. Try eating fatty fish like a salmon fillet for dinner twice a week. Throw a handful of walnuts into your morning oatmeal. Add chia seeds to your smoothie before you blend it. If you cannot get enough from food, a high-quality fish oil supplement can help bridge the gap. This is one of those simple changes that your brain will notice fast. Vitamin D is sometimes called the sunshine vitamin because your skin makes it when exposed to sunlight, and it plays a significant role in mood. Vitamin D receptors are found throughout the brain, including in areas that regulate emotions. Low vitamin D levels have been linked to depression, seasonal mood changes, and fatigue. The problem? A huge portion of the world's population is vitamin D deficient. People who work indoors all day, people living in northern climates where winter is long, people with darker skin who need more sun exposure to produce the same amount. Millions of people are walking around with low vitamin D and do not know it. If you feel worse in the winter months, this could be a big reason why. Get your levels checked with a simple blood test. If you are low, your doctor may recommend a supplement, usually vitamin D3, between 1,000 to 4,000 IU daily, depending on your level. And of course, get more sunlight. We already talked about the morning sunlight habit. Now you have another reason to do it. Vitamin D production and mood boosting at the same time. Let us go back to writing. Beyond gratitude journaling, there is another kind called expressive journaling. This is where you write about your thoughts and feelings, especially the difficult ones, openly and honestly. No filter, no audience, just you and the page. Research confirmed that expressive writing decreases the mental burden of holding in difficult emotions, leading to improved mood, decreased anxiety, reduced PTSD symptoms, and better immune function. When you hold in emotions, your brain stays in a constant state of low-level stress. Writing them out releases that pressure. Here is how. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Write about whatever is bothering you. Do not worry about grammar, spelling, or making sense. Just pour it out. When the timer goes off, close the notebook. You do not need to read it again. You do not need to show anyone. The act of writing itself is the healing. Your brain processes the emotion through the writing and can begin to let it go. Think of it like taking out the trash. If you never take it out, it piles up and your whole house starts to stink. Journaling takes out the emotional trash. By now, you have a lot of tools. So let me help you organize them into a daily routine. This is your mood management blueprint. Morning. Wake up at a consistent time. Drink a glass of water immediately. Get 10 to 20 minutes of sunlight. Do 5 minutes of gratitude journaling. Move your body for 20 to 30 minutes. Walk, stretch, whatever you enjoy. Afternoon. Eat a balanced lunch with protein, healthy fats, and vegetables. Stay hydrated. Take a short break outside if possible. If stress builds up, use the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Avoid the sugar trap. Instead of grabbing a candy bar from the vending machine, eat an apple with peanut butter or a handful of almonds. These keep your blood sugar stable. Evening. Eat a dinner rich in tryptophan and omega-3s. Reduce screen time 1 hour before bed. Do 5 minutes of expressive journaling if needed. Cool your bedroom. Get into bed at a consistent time. This routine touches every system we have discussed: neurotransmitters, gut health, sleep, stress hormones, thought patterns, and connection. You do not need to be perfect, just consistent. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This is a lot. And you are right, it is a lot. But here is the thing. You do not have to do everything at once. In fact, trying to change everything overnight is the fastest way to fail. Your brain resists big changes. It likes what is familiar, even if what is familiar is making you miserable. So start with one thing, just one. Pick the tool from this video that feels the easiest to you. Maybe it is drinking more water. Maybe it is the morning sunlight. Maybe it is writing 3 gratitudes before bed. Whatever it is, do that one thing every day for 2 weeks. Do not add anything else until that one thing feels automatic. Then add a second thing, then a third, then a fourth. Over the course of 2 to 3 months, you will have built a full mood management routine without overwhelming yourself. Small changes done consistently create massive results over time. Your brain adapts, your chemistry shifts, and one day, you wake up and realize you feel different. Not because of one miracle fix, but because you built a system. Here is a tool that accelerates everything: mood tracking. A study analyzing data from 434 users over 2 years confirmed that moods and daily activities are strongly linked, and that tracking this connection helps people manage their emotional health more effectively. When you measure something, you can improve it. Get a simple notebook or an app. Every evening, rate your mood from 1 to 10. Then write what you did that day. Write things like, slept 7 hours, walked for 30 minutes, ate salmon for dinner, mood 8. Or, slept 5 hours, had 3 coffees, skipped lunch, scrolled my phone for 2 hours, mood 3. After 2 weeks, look at the patterns. You will see exactly which habits push your mood up and which ones drag it down. This is personalized mood science. Because while the general rules apply to everyone, sleep, exercise, gut health, etc., your specific triggers and boosters may be slightly different. Maybe you notice your mood drops every Sunday evening. Maybe you notice you always feel good after calling a certain friend. The patterns will reveal your formula. And once you see it, you can design your days around it. Let me hammer this point one more time because it is that important. Move every day. Not 3 times a week, not when you feel like it, every day. It does not have to be intense. A 20-minute walk is enough, but something, every single day. The research is clear. Exercise increases serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, endorphins, and BDNF all at once. There is no pill on earth that does all of those things simultaneously without side effects. Exercise is the pill. And the only side effect is that you also get healthier, sleep better, and look better. That is a pretty good deal. The trick is making it enjoyable. If you hate running, do not run. Dance, swim, play basketball, ride a bike, walk your dog, wrestle with your kids, do yoga in your living room. The best exercise for your mood is the one you will actually do. Consistency beats intensity every single time. 20 minutes of walking every day for a year is worth more than one intense gym session followed by 3 weeks of nothing. Here is a bonus tool that more and more people are using: cold exposure, cold showers, ice baths, or even just ending your regular shower with 30 seconds of cold water. Cold exposure triggers a massive release of norepinephrine and dopamine. Some research suggests dopamine can increase by up to 250% from cold water immersion. This is why people report feeling so alert, awake, and almost euphoric after a cold shower. The surge of dopamine and norepinephrine lasts for hours afterward. It is like a natural stimulant without the crash. And over time, regular cold exposure appears to improve emotional resilience and stress tolerance. Start small. At the end of your normal warm shower, turn the water to cold for 15 seconds, then 30 seconds the next day, then 60. Build up gradually. I am not going to lie, the first few times are rough. Your body will scream at you. But that is actually the point. Your brain learns to stay calm under physical stress, and that skill transfers to emotional stress. It is discomfort training for your nervous system. Music. This one is almost cheating because it works so fast. Music directly activates the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine. It also modulates the amygdala, helping regulate emotional responses. Listening to music you love is one of the quickest ways to shift your emotional state. Researchers at the University of Bristol investigated the link between music streaming habits and mood and found that people actively use music to match and change their emotional state. People listen to energetic songs to help them wake up and feel pumped for the day. People play their childhood songs when they feel homesick living in a foreign country. People put on sad music when they want to process a painful emotion. Build yourself mood playlists. Create an energy playlist for mornings. Create a calm playlist for winding down at night. Create a motivation playlist for workouts. Create a processing playlist for when you need to sit with heavier emotions. Use music intentionally instead of just putting on whatever comes on randomly. It is a remote control for your brain. Use it. I need to say this even though it might not be popular. The news is bad for your mood. Not because being informed is bad, but because modern news is designed to trigger fear, anger, and anxiety. Those emotions keep you watching, and the more you watch, the more cortisol your body pumps out. You do not need to check the news 10 times a day. You do not need push notifications for every breaking story. You do not need to sit on the couch watching the same horrible story being replayed over and over on cable news for 3 hours straight. You do not need to scroll through Twitter threads full of outrage before breakfast. Most of the things you see in the news, you have zero control over. And stressing about things you cannot control is one of the fastest ways to drain your mood. Pick one time per day to check the news. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Get informed. Then close it. Redirect your attention to something you can control. Your health, your work, your relationships, your daily routines. This is not ignorance. This is protection. You are guarding your brain chemistry from unnecessary cortisol dumps, and your mood will thank you. Holding on to anger, grudges, and resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. That is not just a saying, it is biochemistry. When you hold a grudge, your body stays in a low-grade stress state. Cortisol stays elevated, your muscles stay tense, your sleep gets disrupted. You are literally hurting yourself while the other person goes on with their life. Forgiveness is not saying that what happened was okay. It is not saying you need to let that person back into your life. Forgiveness is the decision to release the emotional grip that the event has on your body. It is saying, I am done letting this situation control my chemistry. It is freedom for your brain, not a gift for theirs. Start by writing a letter you will never send. Write everything you want to say to the person who hurt you. Every angry word, every disappointment, every detail of how it made you feel when they broke your trust, when they lied, when they walked away. Get it all out on paper. Then choose to release it. Tear up the letter. Burn it if you want. The act itself begins to untangle the stress response in your body. This is not weakness. This is the strongest thing you can do for your mood. People who have a sense of purpose, a reason to get up in the morning, are significantly more resilient against depression and mood swings. Purpose does not have to mean saving the world. It can be small. It can be as simple as being the best parent you can be to your kids, building a business you believe in, learning a new language this year, mentoring a young person at your church, or mastering the guitar by the time you are 50. When you have purpose, your brain has a direction. It has something to move toward. And forward movement, even slow forward movement, produces dopamine. You feel motivated. You feel alive. But when you have no purpose, your brain drifts. And a drifting brain tends to drift toward negativity. Rumination fills the vacuum. If you do not have a clear purpose right now, that is okay. Start asking yourself questions. What makes me lose track of time? What would I do if money were not an issue? What problems in the world make me angry enough to want to fix them? Your purpose is usually hiding in the answers. Find it. Write it down. Let it pull you forward. Do not underestimate laughter. When you laugh, genuinely laugh, your brain releases endorphins, reduces cortisol, relaxes your muscles, and increases blood flow. A good belly laugh is literally a full-body mood treatment that lasts for up to 45 minutes afterward. Watch a comedy special that makes you cry from laughing. Call that one friend who always has a ridiculous story. Watch those silly videos of babies laughing or dogs doing dumb things. Play a game with your family that turns into chaos and giggles. Stop taking everything so seriously for a moment. Your brain needs laughter the same way it needs food and sleep. And here's the wild thing. Even fake laughing can trigger some of the same benefits. There are laughter yoga classes where people just stand in a circle and force themselves to laugh. It starts out awkward and fake, and then it becomes real, because the absurdity of it makes everyone genuinely crack up. Your body does not fully distinguish between real and forced laughter. So laugh, as much and as often as you can. Doing something kind for someone else is one of the most reliable mood boosters ever studied. When you help another person, your brain releases oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. Researchers call this the helper's high. And unlike many other mood boosts, this one lasts. The positive feelings from acts of kindness can persist for hours or even days. Buy the coffee for the stranger behind you in the drive-thru line. Leave an extra generous tip for your waiter. Text someone you have not spoken to in months and tell them you are thinking about them. Help your neighbor carry their groceries inside. Volunteer at a food bank on a Saturday morning. These are not big dramatic gestures. They are small moments of human connection that your brain feeds on. The Iowa State University study we mentioned earlier confirmed that people who practice loving kindness toward others felt happier, more connected, and less anxious. Kindness is not just morally good, it is chemically good. It upgrades your brain's emotional operating system. Make it a habit. Your mood is also affected by who you spend time with and what you allow into your life. If you are constantly around people who drain you, criticize you, or dump their negativity on you, your mood will suffer. If you say yes to everything and have no time for yourself, your mood will suffer. If you tolerate toxic behavior because you are afraid of conflict, your mood will suffer. Boundaries are not selfish. They are essential. Saying no, I cannot take on another project right now, protects your stress levels. Telling a friend, I love you, but I need you to stop venting to me about the same problem every day without doing anything about it, protects your energy. Leaving a party early because you are tired instead of forcing yourself to stay until midnight protects your sleep. These are acts of self-care, not cruelty. Every time you set a healthy boundary, you reduce cortisol. Every time you honor your own needs, you build self-respect. And self-respect is deeply connected to mood. People with poor boundaries are constantly running on empty. Protect your time. Protect your energy. Protect your peace. Your brain is counting on you. Caffeine. Most people's favorite drug. And look, caffeine is not the enemy. In moderate amounts, it can improve alertness, focus, and even mood. But too much caffeine, or caffeine at the wrong time, can wreck your mood by increasing anxiety, disrupting sleep, and spiking cortisol. Remember, caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours. That means if you drink a cup of coffee at 4 p.m., half of that caffeine is still in your body at 10 p.m. You might fall asleep, but the quality of your sleep will be damaged. And as we learned earlier, bad sleep leads to an amygdala that is out of control. So your 4 p.m. coffee is still affecting your emotional reactions the next morning. The rule? No caffeine after 2 p.m. If you currently drink 4 or 5 cups a day, do not quit cold turkey. Cut down gradually. Replace afternoon coffee with herbal tea or water. Pay attention to how you feel. Many people find that reducing caffeine alone makes them calmer, sleep better, and feel more emotionally stable. Less is often more. Here's something most people never think about. Your mood follows your energy. When your energy is high, your mood is usually good. When your energy crashes, your mood goes with it. So instead of trying to manage your mood directly, try managing your energy. Energy management means eating regularly. Do not skip meals. It means resting before you hit exhaustion, not after. It means planning your hardest tasks for the time of day when your energy is naturally highest. For most people, that means doing the big presentation, the hard conversation, or the creative work in the morning when your brain is fresh, not at 4 p.m. when your body is running on fumes and you just want to go home. It also means taking real breaks during the day, not scrolling your phone. That is not rest. Real breaks mean standing up, stretching, going outside for 2 minutes, or closing your eyes and breathing. These micro-rests prevent the energy crashes that lead to mood crashes. Think of your energy like a battery. Do not wait until it hits zero to recharge. Top it up throughout the day. Look around you right now. Is your space clean or cluttered? Is it bright or dark? Is it calm or chaotic? Your physical environment has a direct effect on your mood. Clutter increases cortisol. Darkness reduces serotonin. Noise and chaos keep your nervous system in fight or flight mode. Cleaning your desk at work is not just about organization. It is about giving your brain visual calm. Opening the blinds in your bedroom is not just about light. It is about triggering serotonin production. Putting on soft background music while you cook dinner is not just about ambiance. It is about activating your brain's pleasure centers. Take 10 minutes today and improve one area of your environment. Clean a surface. Add a plant. Open a window. Change the lighting. Small shifts in your environment create small shifts in your brain chemistry. And those small shifts add up over time to a fundamentally different baseline mood. Your body holds emotions in your muscles. Stress creates tension. Anxiety tightens your shoulders, your jaw, your stomach. Sadness makes you hunch and close inward. Over time, this physical tension becomes chronic. And chronic physical tension keeps sending stress signals back to your brain, keeping cortisol elevated. Stretching and gentle movement release that stored tension. When you stretch a tight muscle, the physical relief sends a signal of safety to your brain. The threat is gone. You can relax. This is why yoga is so powerful for mood. It combines stretching, breathing, and mindfulness all at once. Every morning, before you even check your phone, stand up and reach your arms overhead as high as you can for 30 seconds. Roll your neck in slow circles. Touch your toes, or try to. Twist your torso left and right. It takes 2 minutes, but it tells your body, we are safe, we are calm, it is a new day. Start your day by releasing tension instead of collecting it. Let us revisit sleep for a moment because this is critical. Sleep debt is real. It accumulates. If you need 8 hours and you only get 6, you have 2 hours of sleep debt. Do that for 5 nights and you have 10 hours of debt. And that debt does not go away on its own. You feel it in your mood, your focus, your patience, and your motivation. A study found that resolving accumulated sleep debt through sleep extension actually improved mood by enhancing the connection between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala, restoring the brain's emotional control system. So, sleeping more on the weekend is not laziness. It is recovery. Your brain literally needs that extra sleep to repair the damage from the week. If you have a large sleep debt, you cannot fix it in one night. But you can start chipping away at it. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier each night for a week. Take short naps if your schedule allows. 20 minutes max so you do not mess up nighttime sleep. Protect your sleep like it is your most valuable possession. Because when it comes to mood, it is. Everyone has mood triggers. Specific situations, people, times, or events that reliably make your mood drop. The problem is, most people are not aware of their triggers. They just feel bad and do not know why. Maybe your mood always drops on Sunday evenings because you dread Monday morning at your job. Maybe you always feel anxious after a phone call with a particular family member who constantly criticizes your choices. Maybe you always feel low after scrolling through a certain social media account that makes you feel inadequate. Maybe you always get irritable when you are hungry, but you never notice it until someone points it out. These are your specific triggers. Use your mood tracking journal to find them. Once you identify a trigger, you have 3 options: remove it, reduce it, or prepare for it. If a certain account makes you feel bad, unfollow it. If Sunday evenings are hard, create a pleasant routine for that time, like cooking a nice dinner or calling a friend. If a person drains you, limit your time with them. Awareness is the first step. Action is the second. Most people's moods would improve dramatically if they just learned to say no more often. Every time you say yes to something you do not want to do, you are saying no to something you do want to do. And over time, this builds resentment, exhaustion, and frustration, all mood killers. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to say, I cannot make it tonight. You are allowed to say, that is not something I can take on right now. You are allowed to say, I need time for myself. And you do not need to give a long explanation. No thank you is a complete sentence. Every no to something draining is a yes to something nourishing, and your brain feels the difference. People who respect their own limits experience less burnout, less anxiety, and more overall life satisfaction. It is uncomfortable at first, especially if you are a people pleaser, but discomfort passes. Chronic resentment does not. Choose the temporary discomfort. I want to take a moment to talk about professional help. If your mood has been consistently low for more than 2 weeks, if you cannot find joy in things you used to enjoy, if you feel hopeless, empty, or like a burden to others, please talk to a mental health professional, a therapist, a counselor, a psychiatrist, someone trained to help. Everything in this video is designed to support good mental health. But sometimes, the tools are not enough on their own. Sometimes there is a deeper chemical imbalance, unprocessed trauma, or a condition like clinical depression that requires professional intervention. And seeking that help is not weakness. It is the smartest and bravest thing you can do. Therapy is strength. Medication, when needed, is strength. Asking for help is strength. You would see a doctor for a broken arm. Your brain deserves the same respect. If you need help, please reach out. You deserve to feel better, and with the right support, you will. How you start your morning sets the chemical tone for your entire day. A chaotic morning, alarm, panic, rush, scroll, coffee, traffic, floods your body with cortisol from the second you wake up. And once cortisol is elevated early, it stays elevated longer throughout the day. But a calm morning, water, sunlight, stretching, gratitude, a healthy breakfast, sets your nervous system to a baseline of peace. From that baseline, you can handle stress better. You react less. You think more clearly. You feel more in control. Same day, same challenges. Completely different experience. Design your morning with intention. Wake up 30 minutes earlier if you need to. Protect that time fiercely. Those 30 minutes are the difference between feeling like a rushed, stressed mess, stumbling into the office with toothpaste on your shirt, and walking in feeling calm, centered, and ready for whatever the day throws at you. Win the morning, and you win the mood. Your evening routine matters just as much as your morning. How you wind down determines how well you sleep, and how well you sleep determines how you feel tomorrow. So treat your evening like the closing chapter of your day, not a time to cram in more stimulation. Start dimming the lights in your home about 2 hours before bed. Switch from the bright overhead lights to a soft lamp on the side table. This signals your brain that nighttime is coming. Stop eating heavy meals at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. Digesting a big plate of pasta at midnight keeps your body working when it should be resting. Reduce screen time. Instead, read a physical book. Do your gratitude journal, have a calm conversation with someone you love, or take a warm shower. The warm shower trick works because when you step out of the warm water, your body temperature drops rapidly, and as we discussed, this drop helps trigger sleep. Combine this with a dark, cool room, and you have created the perfect conditions for deep, restorative sleep. Which means you wake up with your amygdala calm, your prefrontal cortex online, and your mood set to good. I need to be honest with you. There will be days when you do not feel like doing any of this. Days when the walk feels pointless. Days when journaling feels silly. Days when you just want to eat junk, skip sleep, and scroll your phone all night. That is normal. That is human. But here is the truth that separates people who manage their mood from people who are controlled by their mood. Consistency beats motivation. Motivation comes and goes. It is a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. But habits run on autopilot. You do not need to feel motivated to brush your teeth. You just do it. That is the level you want your mood habits to reach. The first 2 weeks are the hardest. After that, it gets easier. After 6 weeks, it starts to feel natural. After 3 months, it feels weird to skip it. Push through the initial resistance. Set reminders. Use accountability partners. Lower the bar if you need to. 5 minutes of walking is better than 0. But do not stop. Because on the other side of consistency is a version of you that feels genuinely, sustainably good. Every 30 days, sit down and review. Look at your mood tracking data. Look at what worked and what did not. Ask yourself, am I sleeping better? Am I moving more? Am I eating better? Am I less reactive? Am I more calm? Where did I slip? Where did I improve? This review is not about judging yourself. It is about adjusting. Maybe you started walking every day but stopped after 2 weeks. Okay, what happened? Was it the weather getting cold? Then find an indoor alternative. Was it your schedule getting crazy? Then try walking during your lunch break instead of after work. Was it boredom? Then switch to a different activity. Every failure is just data that tells you what to change. Progress is not a straight line. You will have good weeks and bad weeks. That is normal and expected. What matters is the trend. If your average mood over 3 months is better than it was 3 months ago, you are winning. Even if individual days still had rough patches. Zoom out, see the bigger picture, and keep going. One of the best ways to lock in everything you have learned is to teach it. When you explain these concepts to someone else, a friend, a family member, your partner, your brain has to organize and reinforce the information. Teaching is one of the most powerful forms of learning. Tell your friend about the gut serotonin connection over lunch. Explain to your partner why you want to put phones away before bed. Share the 4-7-8 breathing technique with your stressed-out coworker. Talk to your kids about how sleep affects their emotions at school. When you teach, you are not just helping them. You are strengthening your own neural pathways around these ideas. And something beautiful happens when you start sharing this knowledge. The people around you start taking care of their moods too. Your household becomes calmer. Your friendships become deeper. Your workplace becomes less reactive. Mood management is contagious. When you improve, everyone around you benefits. Before we wrap up, I want to say something directly to you. You deserve to feel good. Not just okay, not just surviving. You deserve to wake up and feel genuinely good about being alive. That is not a luxury. That is your birthright as a human being. And now you have the knowledge to make it happen. You understand your brain chemistry. You know how sleep, exercise, food, thoughts, connection, and environment all connect to create your emotional experience. You have specific tools, gratitude journaling, breathing techniques, cognitive reframing, mood tracking, sleep routines, gut health strategies, and more. The only thing left is action. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. You did not watch this entire video just to be entertained. You watched it because you want to change. So change, starting today. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, today. Pick your first tool and begin. Here is your final action plan. Print this out, screenshot it, write it on your wall, whatever you need to do. Daily non-negotiables. Sleep 7 to 9 hours, drink 8 glasses of water, move your body for 20 minutes, get 10 minutes of sunlight, write 3 gratitudes. Weekly goals. Eat omega-3 rich fish twice, Spend meaningful time with someone you care about. Review your mood journal. Do at least one act of kindness. Monthly. Review your progress. Adjust what is not working. Add one new tool from this video. Rules. No screens 1 hour before bed. No caffeine after 2 p.m. Limit news to 1 check per day. No phone for the first 30 minutes of the morning. Emergency tools. When mood drops suddenly, use 4-7-8 breathing, go for a 10-minute walk, call someone you trust, write in your journal, or put on your mood playlist. That is it. That is the full course. You now know more about mood management than 99% of people on this planet. The question is, what are you going to do with that knowledge? I believe in you. Now go build a mood you are proud of. And if this video helped you, share it with someone who needs it, because everyone deserves to feel good. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.